what's up everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Today is Monday, October 15th. I do believe it is, yes. And yeah, I'm excited to be here yet again, one more time. So first, I guess I'll start with my tea bag, which I found very I guess not profound, but it definitely spoke to me today, and I've never had this one before. So it says, the only thing that can limit you is believing that you are limited. Become limitless. Oh, I love that. And I would like to just edit just a bit, be limitless. It's not something that you have to aspire to or wait to be, as in becoming. It's just a matter of deciding that you are. So be limitless. The only thing that can limit you is believing that you are limited. Yes, I love that. Oh, I cut these cards multiple times, but for all intents and purposes, for you skeptics out there, or you curious watchers, I will do it again. Hope you're doing well today. I'm almost sure that I already said that, but definitely can't say it enough now, can you, right? It was a pretty high octane weekend, a lot of intense energies. That's too many. A lot of intense energies. Oh, sweet little bird. Oh, thank you. By way of the solar eclipse and the new moon, Queen of Pentacles. You can still definitely harness that vibration and your affirmations and your intentions. Definitely still also be in protective mode of your passions and your prosperity in every way, shape, and form, and just your energetic field overall. And as I'll probably continue to reiterate throughout October, more or less, is just be safe and be discerning about where you go and who you go with at this time. That's too many to star card though. So we got the Queen of Pentacles on the board. Let's see. I don't know if she's going to stay at the top, but we'll see. Let's see how the cards pull today. That was the Hierophant. I'll take that. We got the Page of Pentacles, the Four of Cups, and the Page of Wands. Interesting. A lot of pages came up in my new moon message too that kind of threw me for a loop about some information that's trying to pierce through or trying to find its way to you, perhaps. Messages, so definitely stay connected to your email. Watch over your mail, particularly. If you're waiting on something, definitely keep your eyes peeled. But also, if you're not waiting on something, keep your eyes peeled and stay in expectation, because there's obviously something that's coming through by way of the Page of Pentacles and the Page of Wands. And this center energy is about missing an opportunity. Or perhaps being bored or resistant, feeling rejected. I don't know. I'm gonna have to take some more on that. But the Page of Pentacles is a message about some money or an investment opportunity or investment interest. Perhaps someone wanted to invest in something perhaps that you have going on, or I don't know, it could be any of those things. And the Page of Wands is an opportunity to advance or expand in some way. Now, they're not particularly large opportunities by way of them being pages. That's kind of like childlike energies. It could be, maybe it just could be assumed, or it could be unassuming that it presents itself to be small in some regard. but it could pack a big punch, you know, I don't know, perhaps it could. So you definitely use your discernment on any offers that are coming to the table, and don't I definitely hear despise not small beginnings. So it could be a small seed of investment that goes a long way and compounds its interest in terms of, you know, helping you to move ahead or forward or start some new beginning as well with the pages. And it could be an opportunity that seems like, you know, it either came out of nowhere, is what I'm feeling with the Page of Wands, or it could almost feel like it's foreign to you. Like sometimes I see the Page of Wands as like he's looking at that wand almost as if it's like an outer body experience, but it's really almost him examining his own power potential. So there could be an offer that comes your way and you're like, who, me? Like, you want me to do what? You're interested in me for what? For who? For why? You know, and it could just seem a little bit out of the box, perhaps, maybe out of the vein of your comfort zone even, or what you think that you are prepared and equipped to handle. For sure, with the page energies, you may feel a little bit small compared to the offer in some regard. So again, despise not small beginnings, even within yourself. If someone's seeing a potential in you to advance in some way, shape, or form, then you've kind of already proven your worth in that regard. Don't miss an opportunity by way of the Four of Cups, sleeping on yourself, you know, and sleeping on this four of cups that's kind of coming out of the ethers is like spirit anointing you for something, or looking to offer you some spiritual respite or nourishment, or satisfaction even. And he's not really in a position per se to receive it because he's still fixated on these 3 cups, either in the past. I usually see it as the past, you know, 3 cups in the past that he's like, but what about that? You know, when it's like spirit's like, no, I got this for you. Here, take this. You'll like it. Trust me. You will. You know, so I got this money for you, or I got this investment, and it's good. You can trust it. It's safe. I have this opportunity. It may cause you to travel, perhaps, or, you know, again, just stepping outside of your comfort zone, a job opportunity that's completely different than what you're used to doing, a change of industry, perhaps, or changing from an industry to a more independent state of creating wealth and expanding your energy. And there may be some resistance on account of perhaps fear of, as I said, having what it takes to sustain self, or to align or measure up to whatever the offer is. But this is spirit saying, you got it, you got this. And that's how I'm reading it at this point. But we're going to take some more cards, because the Queen of Pentacles is the first out of the gate, which definitely speaks to the high value. Oh yeah, and then of course, spirit. At this point, it definitely aligns with the teabag message, which says the only thing that can limit you is believing that you are limitless. So the only thing that can keep you from, you know, missing an opportunity to start fresh, to have new money, or a new way toward prosperity, prospects of prosperity, and to expand your experience in one way or another. It doesn't have to be work related, of course. It could just be an experience in a new place, or traveling to a new town, or connecting with other people that expands all of the above. You know, the only thing that can stop you from operating in your fullest potential is you sitting here in this arms crossed position, afraid to step out on what spirit is ultimately offering you at best. All right, well, I'm going to take this one for sure, because that unfolded. Yeah, this is chaos, confusion, and competition. It didn't turn over legitimately, so I'm going to kindly stick that back in the deck, because we're definitely not calling in this energy, not within ourselves, any conflict or confusion or chaos, and we're not entertaining anything outside of ourselves either. Even if it persists or comes back up again, I'm definitely going to dismiss it at this time. especially as it pushes back on this here, two of wands, which is ultimately you having a plan, having an outlook of your future. And it does also speak to distance, like looking out on the horizon. Again, perhaps traveling or considering traveling, considering moving, perhaps considering, and it doesn't have to be completely like state to state or, even town to town, but just the possibility of changing directions is what's being called into the light here. The Two of Pentacles, the Two of Wands is definitely speaking to the fact that you have the potential to plan accordingly. You have all the intel that you need to make a decision and take action on whatever plan is presented to you or whatever plan has been evoked in your energetic field to set out upon. It's like the world is literally in your hands right now with the World card. It's a small world, but it's a small world after all now, isn't it? And sometimes it's our perspective that makes things bigger or smaller, than they actually are, i.e. the opportunities themselves, you within the opportunity, or the plan of action that it's going to require for you to have some successful outcome. It's definitely a matter of perspective here. And if you are not only willing to plan accordingly, but then allow the universe to guide your steps within that plan, and perhaps even being a bit flexible as a childlike energy can be with the Page of Pentacles and the Page of Wands, it's not a very stringent force, of ambition. It's being open to the possibilities, being open to adventure for sure with the Page of Wands, being open to the potential of more beyond what you can see, perhaps even manifesting that, as a Queen of Pentacles certainly does, because she knows that her energy, Temperance card, she knows that her energy is the manifestation source, knowing that you are worth and worthy of everything that you set your mind to, and having a certain standard, more or less, of a reciprocal exchange for the energy that you have to offer. Wherever you put your time, your energy, your attention, your essence, your value, perhaps even your money, wherever you invest that is going to be something that has a prosperous turnaround because you're attached to it. And the Queen of Pentacles makes wise investments. We don't have to second guess that she knows how to move wisely with her money, her energy, and her time. And again, she knows what to invest in, what to connect with, and she's clear about the things that may perhaps be a detriment, and maybe that's what this energy is here, knowing when to refuse an offer, perhaps that maybe isn't in alignment if you feel it is too small and you're owed more or you're worth more. There's that too, the flip side of it all. And then we got the Temperance card here, because the Queen of Pentacles is not desperate, okay? Like she's not needing for anything, most of all, not any external validation or any perception outside of her that would project her measurement of success or worth. She's not looking to be affirmed in that way from the outside in. She's already knowing that it's her value is coming from the inside out. And so we have the Temperance card here that's like angelic assistance in spirit and in truth, in the earth and in the heavenly realms, that which I actually just spoke on, knowing that with your plan is supported by the celestials, period. You know what I mean? Like you have the balance of heaven here at your side, at your beck and call, because and only because, you're moving in integrity. And by integrity, I mean knowing your worth and what you're capable of, and also knowing what you are worthy to receive in the essence of the Queen of Pentacles. That's moving in integrity. So you're not necessarily going to take an offer that would demean that value, but you're also going to be open, here's the balance here, to things that perhaps even you may be able to add value too, because that's that as well with the pages. Maybe perhaps it's an opportunity for her to make an investment into prospects that have great potential, and she's discerning with all of that as well. It works both ways, and the spirit, as long as there's a movement in integrity and in divine alignment, is going to support the most prosperous outcome. This is good. Ooh, and the Sun card come through, Spirit. Wow. Talk about no limitations. No limit soldiers up in here. So we got the Sun card, which is the most prosperous and productive card in the deck. I mean, I want to stop here if I didn't have at least one more card to catch, but I'm going to do another row too. But you know how sometimes you get going, you get a great message, and it's like, damn, here come the Tower or the Devil or some crazy shit. But no, even with that, still, we know that there's always the yin to the yang lurking, looking to be I would say just like a negative charge to the positive or a positive to the negative. It's all balancing itself out, as the Temperance card is here to represent. But ultimately, it's something very promising on the horizon. Literally, he's looking ahead now. Don't look too sunny in this card, but perhaps he has his perspective is promising enough that the spirit can work with that. Okay, that's what I'm getting. It's like when you don't even you have a plan and you're open and you're flexible, you don't really have the evidence per se to know that this plan is going to be a success, right? But you've done enough in your own regard to put some things in action, and you've given the rest up to universal order, to God, to spirit, to ancestral support, celestial guidance, however you choose to call it out or submit to it, is what is in play here right now, what is definitely prevalent. The Temperance card is like heavy hitter angelic energy. It's literally bringing spirit into matter. It's like you finally accepting this cup, this anointing of as it is, that of yourself, if you believe in who you are, and the spirit just comes and like fills that cup up. Anytime it might get empty, it's like, let me give you a little more, let me balance this out, so that there's never a deficiency in spiritual nourishment or satisfaction in some regard. Of course, according to perspective, though, because the support is always there if you believe it to be. Remember, you're only limited if you think that you are. So it's according to perspective. He could see this cup as half full or half empty, or just unacceptable altogether. It's a matter of his choice. Truly, we have the power of choice, but then we have that celestial force that's supporting our endeavors and making all things balanced, making it make sense. Like I said, literally bringing spirit into matter, bringing your manifestations into reality by your own hands and by your own imagination. That's what I'm seeing here as well with the Two of Wands, him having an imaginative outlook on his possibilities. And then here is the illumination by way of the sun, bringing life to those visions, bringing vitality to his creations, nourishing it from the soil, from the ground up, from the root, ultimately with the sun here, giving it, making it fertile in the sense that it's not, it's creating that, and certainly with the Queen of Pentacles, it's creating, it's creating a harvest, not just one measly little rose or sunflower for that matter. If you've ever seen sunflowers grow, they are wild and unruly. You can't even really contain them. Trust me, I've tried. There's a garden nearby at my church, and the pastor once upon a time was so kind to let me cut some flowers down, and I tried to arrange them into a vase, and they were so unruly. They did not want to be manipulated. It's like they were still used to being on the vine, growing in whichever way the sun was shining, which is what sunflowers do. Like they they position themselves and over time begin to lean toward whichever way the sun is shining on them, you know? And that's the essence here that I'm seeing, that no matter what the projection is, if you're always leaning in that light of the sun, of the source, dependent on it and it alone, you know, but trusting that it works through you and that you have the support of things seen and unseen around you, there's no limitation to how your produce, your garden, your prosperity can grow. Literally unlimited. Wow, yeah. And then we got the Judgment card, and what I say, no matter what, there's always going to be somebody watching. But in this case, I feel like people are watching, wanting to know how you do it, you know, wanting to see how you work, how it is that you have such, you know, how are you so prosperous? How is it that you have so much favor with the Judgment card here? How is it that you keep finding life over and over again, resurrecting in some way? Like just when you think you down and out, perhaps even in this Page of Pentacles, Page of Wands stage where you're like docile, you know, and we consider it, the page more or less is kind of low on the totem pole. He's like an apprentice of sorts to the knight, or, you know, and looks forward to kingship in some regard, if he's even in line for that type of nobility. But ultimately is someone that is looking to learn and is a bit as beginning in his maturity, you know. And perhaps maybe people saw you like that. Now that I'm really getting into this, maybe people passed on you as a possibility because they didn't think you had enough to offer. They thought your gifts were small. They thought your potential for power was, you know, like minuscule, you know, underdeveloped, not really hitting for much, you know, to put it very hood, you know, like they didn't see you, they didn't see your value. I'm seeing this differently now with this top part of this tier, that they perhaps didn't see you as the the Queen of Pentacles, someone that's fertile and that's committed, like she's committed to that pentacle. It might have seemed small to other people, you know, maybe they didn't see her as royalty or regal or polished and dependable, you know, in some regard. Maybe they thought she was going to be here today, going tomorrow, or she would eventually fall off, or just what she had to offer. When I'm seeing pentacles these days is definitely in a spiritual sense speaking to gifts, you know, like talents, gifts, abilities, and things of that nature that are very unique, as I said, anointed to you by the divine. Perhaps, and sometimes people on the outside looking in don't see that the way that the Spirit sees you, you know, because we don't see ourselves the way that Spirit sees us, our highest selves. We don't always have the perspective. We may idealize what would be nice, but then when you actually get faced with it, as I said with the Page of Wands, it's like, who, me? Couldn't be. You think I could do that? You think you want to trust me with this opportunity? You might even be saying that to the Lord himself or herself, however you see the divine, you know, that questioning, are you sure that I have what it takes to operate in this capacity? And it's like, this is the top of the spread. This is what you've always been. That's how the Spirit, that's how you've been before. I'm hearing before I formed you. What is it? Oh, come on. That scripture, what is that? Jeremiah 2:11, is it? Come on, Danae. Now that's that scripture, if you're in the Christian faith at all, you know what I'm talking about. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you pretty much. And I, more or less, the Spirit saying, before you even became, again, matter of the Spirit, literally spirit into matter, I already designed you accordingly. I already knew exactly what elements I was putting together to divine you in such a way that you would be the perfect person for the job, the perfect man, the perfect woman for the task at hand. You know, that you would be equipped with literally everything that you could possibly need from birth, from inception into this world. You would have everything and be ordained with all the riches within your physical spiritual being that you could need to do anything else otherwise. And then when you start to come into that realization about yourself, by way of the Page of Pentacles, literally almost looking at yourself in the mirror, seeing yourself in that gifting that I'm speaking of here, like, ooh, wow, I could do that. I didn't know I could do that. Oh, I've had this effect in this way. I didn't even know that, like I didn't even know I was that powerful. That's you becoming acquainted with your power at the Page of Pentacles almost for the first time. And this is more power. This is like potential energy and, your gifts, as I said, and then actually learning how to use them with the Page of Wands. Like, hold up, what happens when I do this? Oh, wow. When I pray, things happen. When I meditate, I'm clear. When I just set an intention, the door is open. When I make a proclamation, it's already done. Like that's the energy here that you're coming into terms with. Yeah, and by way of the judgment, this is the decision from on high that this is your destiny to be expressive in this way and to be certain of it. As I said, the Queen of Pentacles at this level, she knows her power, she knows her authority, she knows her placement, she feels secure in who she is and the gifts that she possesses. She's not looking at any other pentacle in this picture. She's only looking at what she possesses, what's been ordained and assigned to her organically, and she takes great pride in that as well. She nurtures it, she covets it, and not in a pride or egotistical way, but she really cares for the gift in a way that is a reverence unto the spirit itself for bestowing it upon her, if you feel what I'm saying. So, here's all that, and all this from the Page of Swords, because obviously there are some eyes on the outside in that it could be good, bad, or indifferent. Some people just are curious. Some people are looking because they're intrigued, and some people are looking because they're agitated. That's the array of balance here we have with the Temperance card, and that's on them. That don't have nothing to do with you. I would say be indifferent to all of it, quite honestly. Literally pay attention to what you're doing, what you're harvesting, what you're cultivating in your being and in your surroundings, your establishment of self, and let the spirit speak for the rest. What anybody else has to say by way of their outside looking in observance, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm taking that. I guess it was kind of weird, but I'll take it. All right, so we got the Two of Cups here, which is about agreement, contracts, commitments, perhaps. There's that Hierophant. He came back out again. He came out and then slipped back in real fast earlier, but I guess maybe it took some time for perhaps the soil to be ripe. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing, for these contracts and commitments to come into alignment. It was like I said, it was always an ordinance, a projection in the spirit, but there needed to be some time for you to cultivate the best of who you were and to be sure of it, self-aware and self-assured, so that when it does come time for this opportunity to come into play, as it clearly is emerging now, if not already, you would be very certain, back to the Queen of Pentacles, of what you're bringing to the table. Not questioning, not, in amazement or astounded by your own self, even though that's okay to still be. Sometimes I'm still surprised at how the spirit moves through me. And I pray to never lose that sense of excitement. I love the surprises, honestly, but there also calls for there to be a certain confidence and self security in what you have to offer, so that you more or less protect yourself, as I said earlier, from taking any offers that are not in alignment, for desecrating that gift, that opportunity, that anointing, that calling, whatever it is, it's unique to whomever is listening, that's been ordained and gifted to you from the spiritual, from an ethereal source. Like this is something that perhaps you have have been able to do since you were a child. Like I said, before I formed you, I knew you, and I called you. I called you according to my purpose? I'm so sorry. I'm like low key a little bit embarrassed that I don't know that scripture for real, because it's one of those that's just ingrained in you. But I would definitely look into it. If you can catch the keywords, go look it up for yourself, or maybe you already know it. And by all means, please do post it in the comments below. But this is something that you could have been, have embodied this gifting, this energy since you were a child, as that scripture speaks of. And sometimes we become conditioned once we pierce through those iniquities of, our emergence into the world, and we forget about who we are, or we become conditioned to reject who we are because it doesn't fit into, you see how these 3 cups are over here, kind of like, to the conformity of conventions, to societal standards. It's a little bit too weird, too strange, too different. When you start drinking what the Spirit is serving up, sometimes you can look a little strange, but it's like that's what we're called to be. We're called to be uniquely different, even as we are contributing to the collective consciousness. There's still something very unique and special that we bring to that contribution, to that force of nature. And if you're stuck in trying to look like everybody else or express your spiritual nature the way everyone else does, because that's a little bit more palatable or acceptable or understandable, you may miss an opportunity to have a greater experience of life in many different ways, because what we've been ordained to do, the path of our own prosperity is connected to our unique calling. It's connected to those gifts that only you possess. Now, many people may play the piano or sing or write or dance or nurture children, as the Queen of Pentacles is a nurturer, or I don't know, so many things. I mean, by God, there's a million things I could be saying here right now, right? But nobody does it the way that you do. No one. There is no one that does what you do in the exact same way. And especially when it's an ordinance of the divine, that means that not everybody has to like it. Not everybody has to understand it. But for sure and for certain, it's going to make an impact in some great regard, because it was attached to you before you even became a matter of spirit in this realm. So it's like you almost have a duty to express it and carry it out. It's like contractually bound. Yeah, right here, this is the contract almost between you and the divine to carry it out. And I'm going to read this in this regard, but of course it is speaking to something different. But I'm going to read this to do so fiercely, without objectivity, without delay, in the Knight of Swords energy, to go fast and furious toward the way of your calling. And this is it being expressed, as the Pope is, like an expression or a figurehead, an emblem of God. Like, of course we know that the Pope is not God. I know I have to always say that because, it is what it is. But as far as the people are concerned, he is like a spirit symbol, like a sex symbol. He's a spirit symbol, more or less. He's held to a certain standard, propped up on a certain pedestal and, reverenced for his wisdom in a religious forum, more or less. And by way of his experience and his studying and his dedication and devotion, for however you receive it, rightfully so. But that's the expression here. Everybody doesn't subscribe to the Pope, You know, I don't even particularly, I respect his authority and his position, but I'm not Catholic. You know, I didn't grow up in the Catholic faith, so I don't necessarily revere the Pope in the same way that those in Catholicism do, but I do respect his position, his devotion to the divine in his way. And, you know, his very position alone speaks to his dedication in spirit and in truth. So what's not to really respect, more or less, unless there's something going on behind the scenes, which is, you know, about man-made ideals, not so much about the spirit. And that's something that's more or less between him and God, if you feel me. So, you know, just taking it at face value, that's how we are to be perceived, projected, or to project ourselves, and to respect others in their own regard. You know, that everyone has a position of spirit to play here, and it may not look like what is palatable to you. What I do may not be palatable to many, especially in organized religious orthodox traditions. You know, like, this is not palatable at all to many. And in that regard, if I answer to that calling, then I perhaps miss the calling of a higher nature, you know, of an unlimited nature to that regard. So I guess I'm saying that is because there, like I said, there's a contract here in the spiritual realm that's playing out here under the Temperance card, which makes a hell of a lot of sense, right? He's balancing those two cups, and then these are the two cups here. Now this could definitely be between two people, or between an organization, even perhaps. It could, like I said, it could just be between you and yourself, the spirit and the flesh of yourself coming into agreement with what you are destined and designed here to do, and taking authority in that regard. You know, it doesn't mean that anybody has to bow down to you or pay homage to you or reverence you or even acknowledge you for what you're doing, but just the sheer decision here by way of the Two of Wands to move in that regard has already set you on the pedestal by way of the spirit. You know, like, you're already set apart once you become a yes to your destiny, is what I'm hearing. Now, the Knight of Swords, as it's coming up here, and I'm gonna take one more, but the Knight of Swords can be those like as in here with the Page of Swords, that want to observe good, bad, or indifferent. It could be also those that feel some entitlement to your energy, okay? And that could also be good, bad, or indifferent, because think about the Pope, since, you know, while we're at it, let's just keep it going. The Pope, you know, he has to be well secured, because people travel far and wide, you know, to just show up wherever they think he's going to be, let alone if he's actually taking a tour into your town, you know, or near where you are. People that reverence his presence make it a point to connect to that essence in some way, shape, or form. So, you know, you may have others, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Because people just find value in who he is and the aura of his being, which is fine. So you might have people, especially once you start to really move and operate in the authority of your highest self, people do want to be attacked. I almost said attack too. So that's the bad part, right? I said good, bad, or indifferent, because this is definitely giving me those vibes. But the upside of it all, because that's what we're entertaining most on today, is that some people want to be in connection to your vibration because it's an attractive force. And that goes that's in the most practical sense of it all. You know, when you're operating in your passion and your calling and your authority and the thing that makes you shine and thrive, you know, makes you feel, because this is an expression of having joy also in what you do, because you find joy, you're expressing joy because you find joy in it, you know. So it's just, that just beams off of you naturally. When you're doing the things that you love, you shine a different type of light and vibrance and brilliance that is not typical on the earth, because most of us are conditioned to just do what we have to do to survive, more or less, or to get by, or to satisfy us for now until some, indefinite future possibility, that in most cases we don't even often feel equipped or worthy to expect, let alone to actually pursue, so a light of someone that's not afraid to be unlimited is ultimately the point here. It shines very brilliantly in such a way that it attracts all likes of observers and pursuers, or what's the right word? Not pursuers, but observers, and I hear followers, so I don't know what you do. Maybe you are moving in a spiritual or religious capacity, and you parishioners, that's the word that I heard, which ultimately means followers. But yeah, like you could be one that attracts a following, even if it's it could be social media, and how you express yourself brings a lot of people to your channel or to your platform to want to hear what you have to say, or see how you live, or curious about how you do what you do. That's where I really started with all this, is more so the curiosity with the Page of Swords as to how it is that you're so favored, that the sun is shining on you, and you always seem to be pretty balanced in life no matter what, that you seem to be pretty determined and stable in your decision making. You seem to always set yourself up in the right place at the right time with the right people. You seem to be pretty confident and stable in who you are, even if it looks a little strange. You don't really care. You know the value, you know your worth, and you know what you're worthy of. That's in essence that people want to be connected to glean from in a glorious way. And also some people are attracted to obstruct or destruct or destroy. There's that too. Or to almost press you and try you. That's what I'm really getting with the Knight of Swords. It's almost like a challenge, like like you ain't really that good. You can't be that nice, you can't be that sanctified, that holy, you can't be that talented, you can't be that lucky, in every range of it all, in the practical sense, in the spiritual sense, the physical sense. It brings all colors, but you being here in this position with the Hierophant again speaks to your the groundedness of your spiritual ordinance, and also the support from celestial force, that it really doesn't matter who comes calling, who comes watching, who comes to put to rest automatically, who comes to challenge you. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You don't have to create no miracles or do no wonders on the spot just because people want to see what you're made of, or they don't believe what you're made of. You don't have to do any of that. This is you resting on your sword of truth as you know it to be for you uniquely, and bypassing this aggression or entitlement altogether. And also those individuals that even set out to be in any aggressive pursuit or objection will be laid to rest, literally settled by way of their own sword with the truth, before they can even really be satisfied with their pursuits. Like this is giving me that those that have the mind, this is what he's like, I'm seeing this as like, this is what he's envisioning or visualizing, to get up and go attack, or get up and go challenge, or get up and go, be aggressive in some way, shape, or form, but the spirit won't even allow it. Your energy is so protected. I mean, the Temperance card and the Sun and the Judgment, which is this is what makes sense, because the Judgment is hovering over this Knight of Swords energy and the Four of Swords. It's like nothing can touch you, nothing can stop you. You're all the way up. When you are ascended, man, and ascension is just simply, like I said, being in an intentional alignment with your highest self. You feverishly pursuing that alignment no matter what. and then operating in that capacity with confidence, with certainty, with assuredness. It doesn't mean that sometimes life might not come literally to try to sway you otherwise or project to you otherwise, certainly, but when you're so intentional about harnessing that power, that's that awareness, that blessed assurance is what I hear, literally blessed assurance of who you are. It's really hard for any low vibrational energies to pierce through that force field. They may try, they may intend, but their best efforts often get laid to rest because the truth is what prevails above all. The truth of who you are, if nothing else, is always going to prevail over the worst of intentions, let alone the best intentions that will ultimately continue to be of support to your highest self. And that's what continues to help you to ascend and transcend beyond. Whereas people think they're about to approach you on one level, like I said, speaking again to this energy here, where they think you still just the Queen of Pentacles, you the Hierophant now. With the support of temperance in the heavens as in the earth, and with the vitality of the sun. So saith the Lord with the Judgment card. It's like people sometimes will try to meet you where they last left you, literally here, thinking that when they rejected you, you weren't going to be any bigger than the Page of Pentacles and the Page of Wands. Like you weren't going to grow anymore, acquire anymore, or do anymore. Your potential was minimized, that you didn't have what it took to plan and to see beyond, what was right in front of you, to see a greater horizon of possibilities, and that you damn sure didn't have the support to actually manifest it into material, So it's like, even with this, I'm seeing that some energies are rushing back or observing, because now they see your value, they see what you have to offer, they see your worth, and as I said, they want to connect with it. Some in a platonic way, some professionally, some personally, some intimately, and some destructively, I guess is the best way to say it. You're like a beam of light now by way of the Sun card. You couldn't dim yourself if you tried. That it just kind of comes with the territory of answering to the highest vibration of you by way of the calling in the spirit. You can't dim the light if you tried, and you probably have tried. You probably have, because you probably inadvertently dimmed your light, thinking that you weren't anything more than just a child in this realm, when in actuality you're royal. You're perhaps an earth angel, with some angelic essence attached to you, or definitely by way of support, and you're surely holding some spiritual authority in whatever way you express it. It doesn't have to be religious in this regard. This is being supreme and superior in however you express yourself. When we're talking about spirituality, when I'm talking about it, it's not about being holier than thou or doing everything right and going to church every Sunday and praying 2 times a day and reading your Bible or your Quran or the Torah or whatever it is that you do. It's not limited to that. It can definitely, it can contain, the contain is not what I mean, but it can account for all of that. It can include all of those things. And for sure, like I said, with the Pope, we know that he is committed and dedicated to his craft, no pun, no shade intended, and to his devotion and divinity, or he wouldn't be sitting in the seat that he's in. So there's nothing wrong with the discipline of your devotion, for sure. That's what has more or less ordained you to be rightful for the position. But that's not measured by anyone outside of you. That's just a personal choice. What is the measure by way of the spirit is your intention and dedication to be the best that you can possibly be, no matter what projections may come your way, what obstructions, what distractions, objections, confrontations, blockages, burdens of the like. Is you being committed to the most supreme expression of yourself, no matter what the cost. That's the one thing that you can go all out, balls to the wall for, and it'll never have you coming up short. It'll never be a detriment to your spirit, mind, or body, in essence. So let's see what's on the bottom. Oh my gosh, this is that. You choosing your higher self. Thank you, Spirit, for the confirmations today. The Lover's card. This is all about you choosing you at the best, at the greatest possible expression. This is like Spirit always calling you to a higher. Like, you good down there, but you can go higher. You can go higher. This is an unlimited calling. You know, there is no ceiling, really and truly. It goes as high as you're willing to go. You're only limited because you believe that you are. Be limitless, as the tea bag has said. And this is the decision to do just that. And when you put yourself in when you are decisive in that regard, and that's also in the Two of Wands too. This is like the practical expression of it. Like, no, the world is my oyster, and I'm going to make the higher. I'm going to, access my higher mind, take the higher road toward anything that I endeavor, because I know that I'm worthy of that much, and I'm called to live in that regard. It's like you believing your worth and your value, so that you don't find yourself stooping to these lower vibrational energies that want to pull you down into some uncertainty, unworthiness, spiritual unfulfillment, lack, poverty mindset about yourself, about your surroundings, or your potential. Like, all of that kind of starts to melt away when you're always looking to your highest potential. Like, I'm great here, and I can do even more. I can do as much as the Spirit calls me to do. Any opportunity that's put in front of me, I'm well equipped for it. Any idea or vision that I have everything that I need to make it a reality, to bring it into matter. Any dream that I've ever conjured in my spirit is so for a reason. It's been put into my psyche so that I can step into it, because I'm worthy of that. And that there's also some responsibility with that achievement to be that projection of possibility for others. It's not a job. It's just what it is when you answer to the calling. It's just natural. It's organic. Like I said, you couldn't dim the light if you tried. People see that you're doing something a little bit different than the others, or different than the norm. And they, in the best case scenario, want to know how they can do it too. Worst case scenario, they want to know how to stop it. And the best case scenario for them is that they might just get close enough to have their whole spirit shifted to know that, no, this is not a stop situation. This is a join me, if you will. Follow me if you might, follow my lead, or be inspired to do this on your own and lead your own charge. You know what I mean? Like, that's the idea here with the Lovers, that you become an attractive force, not just in the intimate sense, which definitely is indicated here. It's in every way, shape, and form. You become a beacon of light for the divine, which is an amazing position to be in. Then we got the King of Swords here, and that's someone that is operating very proactively, so in the highest integrity of his truth. That's how I'm reading it. And it's interesting though. We got the Page of Swords, the Knight of Swords. Oh man. And I'm gonna take it as I said, because it is true. This is definitely this is valid, that the King of Swords in the upright is someone that's operating in honor and truth and integrity and balance, in harmony with his own thoughts, who's objective about how he expresses himself, who can be a bit emotionally detached, but not necessarily at fault per se, because sometimes being overly emotionally attached skews your perspective and it sways your actions and things such as that. But someone that just sees things for what they are and has a very high aptitude of intelligence to make decisions that are wise. So that's the highest vibration of the King of Swords. Now, as I said, remember here with the Page of Swords and the Knight of Swords. Now, see how he's jumped up in essence from the Page to the Knight. That's that essence of inspiration that I was talking about. That somebody will come in thinking they're about to take over, attack, or challenge you, and they leave much different than they came. Someone coming in, maybe perhaps this Knight is that energy here, as I said, that said, nah, I'll pass. I'll pass on the Queen of Pentacles. He had a more logical approach and prospect of his satisfaction, or what he idealized to be worthy to, connect his energy with. It's all fair game, really and truly. Yet and still, we all are accountable for our actions and our decisions, and on account of those that may have passed on you or didn't see your worthiness or value, they have the price to pay to ultimately watch from the outside in as you ascend and evolve and grow, and perhaps even connect with other individuals that did see your worth and value and took action to align with it. That's the lower vibration of this expression. And I'm mainly getting that because of the Page of Swords and the Knight of Swords being those energies that usually aren't the most high vibrational, especially with it being laid to rest here in the Four of Swords. It's like I can always see two sides of the coin. That's the Libra in me, that I'm always balancing the possibilities and the prospects. But ultimately, this is someone on the outside looking in of a lover's connection. As I said, emotionally detached in ways that perhaps didn't allow him to follow his spirit nature by way of the Temperance. Look, here he is again, the Four of Cups. He didn't accept that cup. He wasn't for the love, the ooey gooey stuff. He was looking at the practicality of life and the logic of his existence beyond, the spirit of the matter, beyond the emotional essence of it all. And that's okay. We all have our right and, our power of choice. Just be aware that some people may be, as I said, making a mad dash back to your energy to reconnect because they feel like they've missed an opportunity, or they feel like, they want to recoup an engagement or a connection that they know would, at this point, have been hindsight, literally with the swords being 2020. Now they know and they see would have great value. They see you for who you are now. They see your worth. They see what you bring to the table, and they see how they would fare better in connection. And this could be personally or professionally, intimately or platonically, any way, shape, and form that you could have friends that discarded you. You could have family that counted you out. You could have an ex-lover or a partner, a potential partner that, you extended yourself with. You chose them, but they didn't choose you type of vibration. It could be, or a potential business prospect, as I said before. Maybe the soil wasn't right for it at that time, and you stepped out to forge a business relationship and things didn't quite work out, or the other person didn't see the potential profit in investing in you. Again, with these investments here, they didn't see how they would, fare prosperously by connecting their resources with yours. It could have happened in any regard. I want to be clear about that. But either way, it's you now, the Queen of Pentacles, that is the decider. Masculine or feminine. It's you that gets to say what you receive in a feminine energy and what you invest in a masculine energy. And that's your energy, your time, your resources. So it doesn't matter. Like the King of Swords could have all the honorable intentions in the world to bring value. And he is highly valuable in his own regard. This is like genius mentality here. He's the expert in his field in his own right, the King of Swords is. But if it's not in alignment now with where you have grown, how you have ascended, how the soil has been tilled for you now to plant seeds in this season of your life. It could just be that that was the ultimately just like a, an exchange on your path, which is often the case for many of us. It could be just that very rejection that propelled you into your highest potential, that made you kind of take a look at yourself, maybe even gave you a peripheral idolization of how, in this regard, like where you almost wanted to make yourself better or make yourself the desirable choice or potential in some way, shape, or form. If you feel what I'm saying, like sometimes a rejection can do that. Like, oh, he don't want me. And then instead of you spiraling down into like nothingness, it actually promotes you to your highest self. It makes you even more intentional about improving, even if you don't even really need to improve on much. You find yourself growing in ways that you may have not even have been slated to do so, just on account of that motivation of rejection to do so. So give thanks for the rejections in your life. I know I do. I most certainly do, because every last one of them definitely propelled me to want to pursue higher heights and greater heights, to expand more, to be better. And sometimes, like I said, the idolization of it all wasn't pure in essence, especially like I said, when the peripheral motivation is someone else's thoughts of you or perception of you, but it still can prove to have value in the long run, especially when you finally become aware that perhaps you were the Queen of Pentacles all along. You always had the sauce, you always had the juice, it's just that someone else didn't see you that way. And now you get to see yourself wholly and completely, literally wholly and completely as exactly who you were destined and divined and designed to be. Purely, organically so. It's like sometimes you get knocked back to get pushed forward, and it's always a matter of perspective, right? Like the T-Bag says, you're only limited if you believe yourself to be. So you can take those projections from the propaganda of who you are from the outside in, and it could be used to diminish your vitality and your potential, or it can be used to promote it and expand it in some powerful ways. And in my case, that's exactly what it did. And I pray that that's where you are. And I almost imagine that you sitting in the Queen of Pentacles energy at this point, with the Lovers on the deck, so much potential for partnership in every way, shape, and form. It's their loss. Whomever passed on you or just didn't see your potential, like, it's just their loss at this time. And even still, it's up to you. You are the deciding factor as to whether or not something gets a second chance, or you get to reconnect, forge a commitment or a contract now in a new season that's more ripe for it to blossom. That's on you. You literally are the one with the judgment call in the palm of your hands by way of the ordinance of spirit to make wise decisions, because you learned and you showed and proven yourself to have the highest value of potential that's been ordained to you by source, supreme in essence, organically so. So congratulations. This was a good reading, nothing too shady for the most part. Congratulations. It's definitely speaking to this advancement in celestial support that we all have by way of solar eclipse that just happened. That was that ring of fire energy where we just are, and it's still happening. So it's not like it was here yesterday and now it's gone. Today, this is the essence of the elements that we're in this eclipse season, where you're literally just piercing through the veil that in some ways was very much self-imposed, in other ways was externally imposed or conditioned to be so, of who you are, again, of your value. You're piercing through literally this baby. That's you coming through in a powerful way and expressing the most supreme vitality of your force by way of source. You know, the source's permission for you, as a Leo energy does, to shine and express yourself creatively, unapologetically, and uninhibitedly. Literally just naked and unafraid with the Lover's card. We're in that season. Keep pushing ahead on and being in expectation, knowing that the plan is working for you, not against you. Being flexible with however the spirit is leading and guiding you this way and that for the most optimum results, knowing that it's working for you for sure. You've already laid the seeds, you've already watered them. You know, the sun has been nurturing them and nourishing them from on high in places that perhaps are even unseen by way of even angelic support and assistance, things intangible that have been working with you and paving the way for you. Ancestors, way showers, guides that have come way before you and now are pouring into you all that they have to offer to make your crooked ways a bit more straight. It's already done, and you're already doing it. You're only limited if you believe yourself to be. So please be limitless. I'm talking to you and I'm talking to me. So don't feel preached to, because that message hit home just as much for me as I could ever express it to anyone else outside of me. So let us all be limitless together. In spirit and in truth, it is so and so it is. And until next time, peace.